obviously been a fan of the band for a long, long time. And, you know, for me, when a Deftones album comes out, it's an event. This has been a different kind of a launch to an event, though. It's never been this way. How much different was it for you guys to launch a record in this whole landscape of COVID? As
crazy as this has all been, and we've been sitting at home for 8 months now and everything, and we were actually off for some time before that, so we've been off forever, and that's another chapter. But so I mean, we were busy with all the normal interviews, mostly by Zoom, you know, and just, you know, artwork and getting all these things done and sequencing, all that stuff. So we've been actually really busy all the while doing nothing at all, and sitting here. But so thankfully that, and even the photo shoots, I mean, that's the craziest thing. Photo shoots were all done on our iPhones, and they really together. So there was a woman, the photographer was in like 30 Rock in New York, and she's doing it. And then my son was here, and he was like, hey, he was directing my son to put the phone closer to dad's face. You know, it's like still able to do all these things, but bizarre. We've been busy. I'm thankful for that. And just, you know, but man, you know, I guess you adapt and improve, and it's all we can do. And of course there was talk of maybe delaying the record and all this stuff. And we just said, if anybody digs us and if we can help them with some new music, get through their damn day, you know, I mean, just, you know, put it out. We're also a live band that relies on touring to support the record, you know, the whole deal.
Yeah,
so
sure. Of course.
But we just said, screw it. Let's just put it out. Let's keep on the plan. So
you guys are very much a live band. You know, I think if anything, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if anything, you guys have in your career have developed into more of a studio band. But you guys, to me, were always a live band. It almost seemed like you guys would put out a record so you could go out and tour. But it seems that as you guys have gotten older, you know, you're on your 9th record. It seems like you guys have kind of embraced recording more than you did before. I meant you're like wine. You're fine.
Wine.
But it just seems like you guys have really embraced the studio experience more. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I mean, for sure. I mean, the live band, by all means. I mean, that's you know how we all are still learning to craft to hone our craft and get better at that. You know, and then comfort in the studio is everything. And you listen to our first record, and it's like, oh my, it's young kids who are like excited, but also like, oh God, we're in a real studio with a real producer and real label and real all this stuff. So, and we were, you know, but you can tell, but there's a progression, of course. And, you know, I mean, I think we've gotten more comfortable. Still, it's you know, you're under the microscope and you can, you know, red light fever or red light, you know, all that kind of stuff that happens. But I'm just trusting. I think a lot of trust. We've learned to just trust each other, man. And that's because it should be fun. You're playing music and you're recording, having a chance to make an album. Come on. What
I've always liked about you guys is you've always kind of gone against the grain. You've never really cared if it's cool or not. The music's always been very, very honest. And I talked to a guy today when I said I was talking to you, and he wanted me to let you know that he really feels, he said, this album is White Pony Part 2.
Right.
And I was like, okay. I never thought of it. Then when I listened to the record through, thinking of that, it made a lot of sense.
That's a funny question, because I mean, or people always, you know, it's human nature to want to be able to attach it to something, you know, and categorize it, or, you know,
fit it in a box.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, and everyone's been asking, we've been in this whole, you know, promotion mode, and like, you know, like, I was like, I don't know, I'm knee deep in it. You know what I mean? So, but I think that there's a spark in it. Obviously being back with Terry again too is huge, you know. A lot of those sounds, well, our sounds were created with him, in conjunction with him, you know, our core sounds in the first 4 albums, you know, so yeah, man, but that's an obvious chunk or a piece of the puzzle that was back in play again. I just say, I guess it could, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely got, you know, bits of Around the Fur too, that sort of,
well, that's what I was going to say, you know, Around the Fur, you know, from that amazing opening, which obviously starts with you with that. There's something about
Phil, yes.
Well, there's something about Genesis when it starts off with those click, that, you know, those just
the stick clicks.
Stick clicks.
Like it's,
you know, that to me is very much almost like a signature Terry Date studio move.
Totally, and it's just an old school, you know, like, you know, usually you could edit them out and pull them out, and we decided to keep them in, and they're actually in another song. I can't remember what the hell it's called right now. I'm still listening. I'm still going off our original working titles.
Yeah. That's the worst. When you guys have these bozo titles, and then you have to.
Yeah. You try to make the most ridiculous working titles right off the bat. Oh, this one's called None. It's
okay.
And of course, it's, you know what I'm saying. So, and then of course they changed. But yeah, that was just a live feel. And also, I mean, even in recording, we worked with some different people over the years, and we got back with Terry, and he's like, "Hey man, how do you guys want to record this? You want to do it the way we used to? You want to be a band and go out in there and do it together?" And because we've been recording to Stripes lately, and just kind of, gives everyone the freedom to kind of mess around, and
sure.
We'll do tempo maps and kind of get things, it's like, whoa, this is efficient, and everyone could be happy, not waiting for the damn drummer, me, to get my gotta play it again. Did you get your take yet? And I was like, but Terry's like, hey man, I would like it if you guys went back and, well, do what you want to do. You're grown men now.
Yeah.
But go do what you want. So we ended up doing it all live, and with no click tracks, the whole record. Wow. and just live.
It feels it. It has that kind of feel. And right. I think that's one of the things I miss the most of, in music, is that push and pull that you would get. When you would listen to a really solid 90s record, it had a push, it had a pull, it had a vibe. It was okay if it sped up or slowed down. It felt like a band was playing. It's it's a little off topic, but I had a discussion with somebody that was listening to a Jane's Addiction record. And they were listening to Perry's vocals, and they were like, he sounds like he's off. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That's his voice, and he's not off at all. He's singing like a person sings. He sounds like a human.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just listened. I was on my neighbor's porch, terrace, whatever you want to call it, the other day, and we were just having beers, and we were just rocking. We watched Nothing Shocking.
I was just going to say, you're listening to Nothing Shocking.
And we just had a beat, and we were just like, oh my God, that band was so huge. It still is.
And and what's crazy about that record is that's a fucking 80s record.
That's an 80s record.
It's a late 80s record, and it sounds like a 90s record. So it just shows you how that band was like, pretty much came and said, here's a platter. This is what the next decade's going to sound like. Yeah,
they were that was the impetus for so much. I mean, that was the blueprint for so much of, well, obviously what, you're inspired and you steal. Of course we all do, but I mean, my God, what an amazing band.
One of the songs that really jumped out for me was, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Urantia.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the working title was for that, but maybe it was like Chuck E. Cheese. But Urantia, probably one of the dirtiest and nastiest riffs that I've heard in a long, long time.
Right.
What is it like when Steven comes to you guys? I assume it was Steven that wrote it. What is it like when Steven comes to you guys with a riff like that? Were you all just like, oh?
I mean, that was actually came out of just a jam.
Wow.
Hardly anything. The exception of on this record, most things are just jammed out on the spot. Ohms, the song Ohms was the demo that Stefan actually kind of sent around a few years back. Just a real, and it was the same. I mean, we rearranged it and chopped it. It was 14 minutes long, and it was half the tempo. I was like, it's going to be. So we just did some things and jammed that. But everything is jammed, and that riff on Urantia was kind of just added the last second. We were just jamming. We had Sergio and I were jamming just the groove for a bit. There were some key sounds kind of going on, and then he just kind of locked in with just a tight, muffled, just
it's just so dirty and mean, and
it is mean. It's nasty, and
it brought me back to, it was like almost like an adrenaline riff.
Right. No, it sounds like
yeah. So it was a nice. It almost made me say, like, anyone that says to you, like, Deftones have mellowed, you guys will pull a riff like that out, and it's like, oof. Like, it's just like, all right, Steven.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I mean, we're mellowed, but we're pissed off just the same, and happy, and all that shit wrapped in one, But that's a fun. I can't wait to. I mean, that's just one of those ones. I'm just looking. Well, maybe one day we'll play again. So
yeah, I think so. You guys were supposed to be going out with Gojira.
Yeah.
What were you must have been looking forward to that? I mean, they're another band that you've just seen go from here to here in the last few years.
Yeah, I'd say from here to here.
Yeah, I mean, just not only their live shows, just their production, like everything. I saw them a couple years ago at Heavy Montreal, and they were just brilliant. Just stunning.
And so we've been buddies for a while, over the years a bit, and played a bunch of festivals and stuff like that. And always just talked about trying to do a tour together, like you do, and then. Yeah. That happened, and once it was booked, I was like, "Oh, what have we done?" They're tight as can be. I mean, it's always great to have bands on that push. It'll be a varied show. The bill is varied, and that's always as a fan and a listener, I want to go to a show that's not always the same thing the whole way through. You know what I mean? So, and they're just such an amazing band, and I was like, "Oh, we better better start practicing, boys. So we can get it together. Got to tighten it up. So yeah, I'm really looking. So that's actually still is being rescheduled. So hopefully that will be able to happen. I mean,
yeah,
it's so ridiculous. And especially just right below you in the United States of America. Jesus, can we just,
I know.
I don't even want to get into it.
Listen, if I could grab, like I've always said this, not to get political or anything, but if I could get a bus and pick up all the Americans that I love and bring them to Canada, I would love to, because I know a lot of people would get on that bus right now.
Oh, hell yeah. We love our neighbors in the Great White North. Yeah. Especially Quebec, man. Are you kidding me?
Woo. Yeah. I mean, you guys have always had an incredibly loyal following. And that's why, before we started recording this, I briefly, mentioned that I'd seen you at Cabaret, which was like a 400-seat club. Right. I'm really grateful to have been able to see Deftones in such a small place, because it didn't last long, those small shows, when you started playing here. And then
you still do them. I mean, that's where we all come from. But that place is a magical little spot too, definitely. Is it still around?
Not really, no. And I'm sure after COVID, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately the reality with a lot of things. Just lastly, I wanted to ask you, what have you personally, what have you been doing for the last 7 months that you would normally not be doing if you were touring? Obviously being at home, but what have you been doing? Is there anything that you've taken up? Is there anything that you've, any maybe self-help stuff that you've been doing? Anything that you've done differently? Like, have you taken up yoga? Are you cycling? Are you cooking more?
I've been definitely been cooking more. I've been working on lobotomies. I started with myself. I just did some little bit of a frontal lobe removal.
Okay.
I got a nice cordless drill. I'm able to get in there pretty easy. And you know what? I honestly, I'm trying to I'm just cooking and just doing normal things. My kids one's in college and one is almost done with high school. So the college boy is home, and I've just been hanging with family and friends as much as we can. Trying to keep moving, dude. Just trying to keep moving. There's been horrendous fires the past couple months here on the West Coast in California. Just and Sacramento's the valley, so all of the smoke just sits there. It's been really, really awful, man. And the people have lost so much, and we're just dealing with the smoke, even though it's all around us. So that really inhibited the moving part. But I just of course wishing the best for everyone, and a lot of people lost it all during that. So. And then this thing called COVID on top of everything else, and then this election and all this crazy So
it's heavy. It's heavy.
Keep the noodle happy and positive, and just trying to keep moving. I actually started going to the gym this last year, which I was like, gym? Who does that?
Right.
And I don't know what I'm doing, but it became a thing. And I know that I can now make it a thing. Like the guys, Chino and Frank and Sergio go on the road all the time. I was like, we're going to go to the gym. We'll meet up for lunch. I was like, I'm going to lay in bed. What are you talking about, man?
So now you might become a fellow Deftone gym rat.
Yes, but I'm not trying to be I just want to be healthy.
I just want to be healthy.
Good. Yeah.
Totally I go to the gym just so I can eat. That's the only reason I go.
Right.
I want to continue to eat. That's all. The only reason I go is because I want to have.
I need to put in some work so that I can devour these lovely flavors, man. You know what I mean? Of course, it makes total sense to me.
Thank you so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it. The record kills. I can't wait to be able to see you guys live. You definitely, hands down, one of the bands that I've always enjoyed live. And you might be older, but you guys are getting better. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That sounds like a SNFU song.
Right?
Getting older, but getting better. Yeah, but so, I just, thank you so much. We're just wishing the best for everyone, man. And it's not you or I, it's all of us on this little shrinking globe that we live on. And just trying to keep positive and let's get back to it. But can we all get on the same page? Please? I know. Yeah.
We'll get there. I think so.
I have faith.
I'm a big believer in the good guys winning. So.
Me too. And they have to, right? They have to.
Dude, 100%. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.